What's good, everybody? It's your boy Keith, and welcome back to another episode of the Wholesome Men podcast, the podcast where we give the wholesome men's perspective each and every episode. Be sure to go ahead and follow me at KLogan_70 on all social media platforms. And today I don't have all my guys, but I got a couple of my guys with me. First, we got Justin in the building.
Well, it's your favorite guy, your favorite wholesome man. Y'all go ahead and give me a follow on IG, JLP_63, and you already know what I'm about to say. Let's get it.
In the building virtually, I mean.
Yes,
and
sir.
Also,
I'm in the building.
And also we got Dr. B.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Dr. B, the raspy voice doctor. Yeah, I'm here. You can follow me at Petty Next Door for all of my more ratchet social media. But if you want some social justice content, you can follow me at The Real Robbie. And that's The Real Dr. Robbie. And that's more of my social justice. Why I got two? Because I got two different audiences.
Oh, you got two different audiences.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got two different sections of people checking for what he posts.
I'm an academic ratchet, so
that's the ones in case your jaw creeping. You can see that one.
He got a burner account.
What's up, Eddie? Snake ass.
Exactly. But as y'all know, during the pandemic, it's a lot of testing going on, and it shouldn't just only be coronavirus testing. And I'm talking about STD testing. And I think everybody should have had this nervous feeling of getting tested before. If you don't, shame on you. For all the listeners, don't shame niggas that get tested, because you're supposed to get tested regularly. So I want to know, first of all, we just talking conversation, men to men. Have all y'all been tested? Just so we know, get that all the way. All y'all tested. We gonna have this conversation. Have y'all been tested?
I have been tested for sexually transmitted diseases before.
Perfect.
Multiple times.
Perfect.
Myself in all aspects of life.
Just in life in general.
In life in general, just as good and healthy.
Okay.
Amen.
I have also been tested, and I hope all the listeners has been tested too. Reason I bring this conversation up, because I think it gets neglected a lot, and I think this low key happens that we don't talk about, especially as men too. So I know I personally had this situation before, but I'm curious, like, have any of y'all or had this awkward situation?
You ain't gonna answer, but I got tested. Like, damn.
You didn't answer. I thought you chose not to answer.
Keith, next time you ask a question, make sure you say Dr. B. And then ask him so he don't feel left out.
I thought you chose not to answer.
As a person, I think getting tested is healthy. I go at least twice a year just for regular checkups, just for my health. But it doesn't, that resource is available to me. So I do it safe, good mind, safer mind to kind of be in that situation to know that I'm good, even though I know that I'm good, but it's practicing good health. So Go get tested. I'm not going to necessarily judge people for not getting tested. I wonder why. Like, is it because you're ashamed? Is it because you don't have resources? I want to know why you don't.
We're going to talk about that.
And we can talk about that because it's important that we go get tested regardless.
So, yeah, I was going to talk about that. And plus, STDs is not only transmitted just through sex as well. I heard different stories where you can get it transmitted through public restrooms and stuff like that. So let's not be ignorant to that fact. But I also want to talk about
educate.
I'm trying to
educate young
trying to be more educated, not just saying dumb male stuff all the time like we sometimes do. So I was curious, have y'all talked to a girl that maybe had a STD? Y'all, and actually how you feel about that in that when you, I guess, in that scenario, if you ever had one. So Justin, so I'm gonna say names first. Justin.
I mean, not to my knowledge. I would say though that if I was talking to a girl and she told me that she had an STD before, I think the first thing that I would think about is how recent. And I mean, if it was years ago, I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. Not
Yeah.
everything ain't forever. I gotta know what it was, though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know what it was. You know, there's many different STDs out here, so you can't just be, oh, you had an STD, but you good now. All right, bet. Sometimes you gotta, some shit linger. Right.
So you ain't never, so no girl ever told you like, yeah, I used to have an STD like before you hit, and then you actually hit, or
I mean, I'm not gonna say that a girl's never told me she has had one before.
what? Wait, you
Come
pretty
on,
much said yes. You said yeah.
So whenever you kick it with a girl, right? You kicking it with a girl, and you about to smash. One of your questions is, have you had an
No,
STD before?
I'm saying if she brought it up, like she told you before, like, hey, just so you know, I used to have this.
No, it's never just been like, hey, by the way, I've had an STD before. It's just now later on, if it like if we did our thing, and then later on we still chopping it up and kicking it, the conversation might come up like, oh, like 2-3 years ago, this happened, but like me personally in my experience, I ain't never asked the girl like, sure.
Okay.
First off, I'm not just out here, you know. Like I ain't out here just, you know.
I don't know your business, bro. We
We
only going based off your word.
I ain't out here just throwing the dog in the buns without some rapper around you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not.
As you should.
But I'm just saying though, like I mean, if it happened before, bro, I mean, you can't hold it against them. Shit happens, bro. As long as they clean now.
All right,
right?
so that's all. That's all I want to know. If they ever told you before or after. So, Dr. B, I don't know if you want to answer this question, but
Yeah,
how you want to approach it.
yeah,
Man,
I don't mind. I mean, I ain't had to worry about that in a very long time. But back in my collegiate years, there was not any situation that I can recall that it was in an immediate like conversation and then engagement in sex. It's always something like maybe months later. So not necessarily knowing like, have you had an STD? And I think again, what people around the education of sex education, you know, we shame people that has either had it or went through it. And so you don't want to reveal that or talk about your sexual past with the person that you're about to have sex with. So it's easier to just lie and say, oh no, I'm good. And that's not really good, right? And so again, I was in those situations. Have I had sex with someone that had an STD before I engaged with them? Yes. Did I know about it at the time when I was engaging? No, they told me, you know, some months later. So, but the thing is, men, right? As men, as we're talking about wholesome men, what's the numbers? The numbers speak that the men are actually transmitting the disease more than women are, So I just want to point out, like, at some point in time, we got to have the discussion of it's a whole lot of niggas giving the disease out, but ain't no niggas saying they ever had it.
We gonna get into that.
All
right. So y'all being too damn politically correct for me right now, cause I ain't gonna lie. Like I've been in the situation. I never had a girl personally tell me beforehand, like, hey, I had an STD, but it has been once or twice that I've been told that or found out later on down the line, or even in a more fucked up situation, maybe a homie told, or I haven't heard it directly from her. So in that situation, I think this was when I was younger and I was more immature. So I was kind of pissed off about it. I still don't talk to that individual to this day. So it's just like, am I fucked up for even thinking about that? Like, no, she had an STD. I don't think that now, cause I think more immature. But I tend to like, if she had an STD, I think, in my opinion, no, I'm not fucking with that person. Like I was back in, I don't know, maybe when y'all was younger, did y'all ever felt that way?
Here's the thing though, just because I've never felt, I mean, I guess when I was younger, like if I was messing and found out that she had an STD, I probably would have been
You would never.
But like, here's the thing though, like, did you not want to mess with her because you thought she was like out here in these streets?
Yes.
Because
yes,
that's the thing though, bro. You could lose your virginity to somebody and catch an STD. That don't mean you a hoe because you caught an STD.
It's
all
true.
it take is one time.
Look at that,
you gotta. You gotta realize.
All it takes is one time to have sex, bro. Just like
All right. We gotta bring it back. We gotta bring it back to the mindset of we're younger. When you younger, let's say high school, freshman year, college, whatever. What you think? The first thing you hear think about is STDs. Oh, she a hoe. Oh, you nigga.
I actually have my senior. No, I don't remember the time frame, but I remember I had lost.
Nah, nigga, you know. Nah, nigga. Go ahead. Y'all being too damn political.
All right, my senior year in high school. I had lost my virginity to this girl, and first off, I didn't. She had a boyfriend, okay. So you know they've been slimy since day one. You know what I'm saying? They've been out here, toxic queens, entanglements and whatnot. But I remember I lost my virginity to this girl, and everybody knew somehow, some way. I ain't tell many people, but everybody knew about me and this girl. And I remember everybody telling me it was like, you know how in high school there's always rumors that spread, like it was just start shit. Somebody came to me and was like, hey, bro, I heard she caught this. So I was like, what? Mind you, I'm 17, bro. So any STD is basically AIDS to me. So I'm like,
you young, it's like, nah, you trying to kill me? I can lose my dick if I have.
I'm like, what? So what do I do? How do I tell my dad? Like, do I just go to the doctor by myself? Like, what do I do? Turns out the person that spread the rumor about her having an STD was just somebody that was mad that because he didn't let her hit. So at the end of the day, you know, people be hating, spreading rumors, but I was like, oh, still ain't got tested though, because you know you can't be too sure. You can never be too. I'm the type of dude that couldn't have had sex in like 3 months and still go get tested just to see it say negative, bro. I gotta see it, bro.
So, like exactly. So like even in what I was saying in my situation, like I was thinking, like, do y'all think it's wrong if she don't tell you and she used to have it, but she cured of it? Like, is that like I feel like I think at the time I think it was wrong, and I like felt some type of way about it. Like, do they have the right as I guess anybody, women or men, do we have the right to just not say anything if we know we're good to go? Do we owe our sexual partner that?
So my analysis around that is like a much deeper context of, so women who would divulge and tell their past about their sexual history are often judged. But overall, as we think about the whole conversation around STDs, right? That we already demonized as if when you get an STD, it's negligence, right? Not knowing the science and how like all of this stuff works, right? Like, so I got COVID and I felt very similar to having an STD. Nobody wanted to talk to me and they were having questions, they were unsure. I didn't really want to share because I didn't want people to judge me. So like there's this whole persona around STDs. And should you want to protect yourself? Absolutely. But should folks be demonized because they did catch one in the past, especially if the education around sexual behavior wasn't in the home? So that's where I like push back. Like, and then does the same type of judgment come for men with STDs versus women with STDs? It's bad no matter what, but I'm just saying women have a lot more to overcome. If they say, yeah, I had an STD, sure, the nigga gonna think, oh, so you was a hoe in these streets. Well, no, nigga, it was my first time, and the nigga gave it to me. We never really think about that. We just think she a hoe in these streets, and that's what I'm talking about. It's a little unevenness when it comes to STDs for men and women.
But to answer your question, I personally don't think you're not obligated. If you good, like if you had one before and you good, you're not obligated to tell that person. Now that person may appreciate it, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It could go one way, could go another.
Depending on maturity level, maybe.
Depending on maturity level.
Yeah.
But if they good, then they don't owe no explanation. I mean, it is what especially if it happened years ago. Because like, how do you by the way, I mean, I know we've been kicking it like 3 years ago. I had caught so and so. Like, it don't even matter. Like,
but you're talking about curable STDs because you can't have that conversation.
Okay, now,
Yeah,
all
I'm talking about
if she got HIV or some shit, bro, like you better fucking tell me.
Like, I mean, would you be willing to be in a relationship with a person that have contracted? No. Oh, why you said it like that? That's fucked up.
I answered that quick. No.
That's you sounding pretty fucked up, bro.
So
how?
You see, just because you can't have sex, you can't have a relationship.
Would you?
See, I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking the questions, nigga.
Okay.
Like, no, but for real, why?
I know a story about a woman that was a virgin and she had sex and she caught herpes from the man, and she was relatively like in her 20s. She was real young. So for her, when she has to engage in relationships, because it's not like people with herpes can't have sex. It's you got to get some education around it. There's heightened things that when and when you can't, and then there's things you can take. So when she enters into a conversation with the male, that's one of the first things she has to give off rip, because it would be really irresponsible for her just to not say, hey, this is how I have herpes. Now, my issue is what men do in response to her having herpes, not knowing how she got it. That's where my problem is. And I think it's unfortunate that anybody who's gotten HIV or herpes in the realm of maybe they trust somebody and it gave it to them, or, maybe it was a spur of the moment. Like, I don't really want to demonize people who get STDs, but at the moment that they get that STD and that either is permanent or not curable, it is the responsibility of that person to inform the person that they could possibly or potentially engage with, hey, by the way, this is what I have, and maybe some backstory on this is how I got it. But we don't talk about that. We don't want to talk about STDs. We just kind of assume that everybody's supposed to be safe and everybody's having the same attitude. Well, if they got it, they'll tell me. No, they won't. Because we demonize people who do tell them.
Question.
Nah.
If you have herpes, and this is me, I'm uneducated on this. If you have herpes, can you still have children?
Yes, you can have children.
Yeah. Will the child contract it from you?
I think it depends on what type it is, right?
Yeah, and I think it all depends on. I think I think my education around that is there's an increased chance that could happen, but it's not impossible, right? And you got to think that the herpes is coming through the vaginal, the canal, the vaginal, I believe. And I'm not a woman, but they could do a C-section, and then it just comes out of the stomach and not through the vaginal. So I believe there are ways that women that have herpes can have it without passing it on, but I'm not as knowledgeable on that. And this is why we hear y'all. We probably need to get some women up to the podcast.
We definitely need some. We gonna get some female guests on real soon, or women guests. I apologize. I mean to call y'all female.
Or we could just fit ourselves. And go read.
Exactly. I mean, this is the men's perspective. We ain't perfect. I mean, we call ourselves a Wholesome Men podcast, but we're really learning to be whole at the end of the day. I also had another question just on this topic before we move on to something else. When is a good time to take the condom off?
Well, if it's the first time, never.
When is a good time to take it off?
Some don't get the chance to put it on.
No, that's
right. Some don't get the chance to put it on. But at that point, it's like, I mean, sometimes niggas raw dog the first time and like, shit, well, might as well keep going. Like,
yeah.
Like, I might as well. I mean, if I got it now. So shit.
You already done fucked up. I mean, it happens way often. I mean, niggas probably shaming, but y'all didn't raw. Whoever listened, y'all didn't raw dog. So don't act like.
I know people that done raw dog damn near everything that they hit and have been clean their whole life.
Yeah, it happened like that. We all know people like that.
And I know people who wear a condom all the time and raw dog one time and now they burn.
Still,
So watch who you sleeping with. I'm gonna have a questionnaire every time.
Hey man, live your life. It's always a risk every
Have
time
you
you step
ever
out the
had
door. That's
Have you ever had an STD? If so, when? If not applicable, move on to the next question.
immature. Immature. And
I think if people just really start having, and I keep saying it's probably every podcast, and I know it's not easy, but I think if people can really start having honest conversations and listen and not judge and like kind of grow from the conversation, right? Like everything doesn't have to be met with a negative perspective. And this is why I talk about misogyny and misogynoir, because there's this consciousness to think that black women are less. So when they're telling their stories, we don't believe them, or we don't factor in like these other things. But what if people were just honest and say, okay, this is what I have, this is what I did have, this is what I did, this is what I want, this is all I want from you. How could we make this workable? But
exactly.
it's hard to have those conversations when all of our lives we're taught to put a facade in front of everyone. So it's difficult.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. And speaking of health, just in general, I do want to talk about another health situation that's going on with our fellow brother Kanye West. He's been he's still our black brother at the end of the day,
Hey, I
because
still
that
stand with Ye, man. I still stand with Ye. I'm with you.
yeah, he just got. Everybody should know by now. He just got issues. He's been diagnosed for being bipolar, and what threw me off is his whole Harriet Tubman
Let's talk
situation
about that.
state.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk
All
about
right, for those that's listening that don't or not aware of what he said, he pretty much said Harriet Tubman didn't really free the slaves, and he kind of just left it at that. And niggas was like, "What? What the fuck is he talking about?" Now I guess I get what he's talking about now, but what's y'all initial reaction when y'all first heard that,
Here's the
Justin?
thing, bro. Social media is so quick to cancel. All it takes is one person to post. All it takes is one person to post. Oh no, we canceling Kanye, and everybody else is just gonna back him up and don't even really dig into it themselves. Me personally, I don't disagree with what Kanye's saying. What
Whoa,
now listen, his approach to it was terrible. Like
delivery is
his delivery
trash.
was
It's
trash. Like
trash.
he said it in the wrong way, but I get what he's saying. He's basically saying that, and this is how I interpret it. He's basically saying that like Harriet Tubman didn't really free the slaves because we still slaves now, just in a more systematic way. That's how I took it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I ain't catch that initially, but after a while, I guess I see what he is trying to say. But delivery is just trash,
The delivery is
and
trash, but the man's literally having a mental episode right now.
that's what I think a lot of
But
people at first didn't know.
cancel
Yeah,
culture is so quick to cancel, like, bruh. And the same niggas that's canceling Kanye still bumping his shit in the whip. I guarantee
Oh, wow. Okay. I
it. Like,
I
got a lot
mean,
to say about this. Couple of things. So one, I'm not qualified enough to even diagnose if Kanye is having a episode. He could be. I don't know.
I,
I'm not
I
gonna.
ain't no doctor, but he definitely
they
is.
came. Well, they came out. No, his wife, Kim Kardashian, came out and said that he's having a mental episode.
Shit, I don't believe Kim either. So
Hey,
anyway,
that could be
But he's
cap.
literally got a mental. He's literally got a mental health, like a mental health history.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying in this
Yeah,
particular case, I'm not
you
gonna
can't
have
diagnose him.
diagnosed. Now, do I think that it's something's going on? Absolutely, and it could be definitely a mental episode. Number two, so I think that here's the thing about people with platforms, and this is why I have problems with folks who are doing the work and don't get the exposure versus folks who are not really doing the work but get the exposure.
Yeah,
So, and this kind of goes along with cancel culture, right? Because again, I understand the cancel culture in terms of Black Twitter because I think there's two types of cancel culture. Like there's a cancel culture like R. Kelly, and then there's the kind of the cancel culture like, look at this nigga, I ain't fucking with him. That ain't mean you ain't gonna bump his shit. Just means you're not really trying to hear. Now with R. Kelly, I
Exactly.
ain't bumped that nigga in 3, 4, whatever I can't remember. Like I
Yeah,
support him, fuck him, right? I hope he gets help.
yeah.
I want him to get help, but he has by far damaged a lot of people. And
Nah, he
the
done.
entire system of folks that were around him fucked him too, because they were part of
It was
doing
part
that.
of it.
So, but I'm not going to support it, right? I'm gonna cancel it. Now with Kanye, I did. You know what? I'm not going to listen. I'm not really
Exactly.
here to relish into like for me. There's no way in the world that if Kanye West came to Oklahoma City and had a rally that I would go to support. That I would pay money to go in that and hear him about what. And so that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, that type of cancel culture. I'm not going to support that. When I listen to his music, I stream it because I have Apple, and he gonna get that money anyway. And I like the music, but I'm not completely canceling Kanye because there's some things that I think Kanye wants to do good, and I think that there's some things that's inhibiting Kanye from doing good. Whereas when you look at R. Kelly, that nigga had chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. He don't want to do right, or he's too conditioned not to do right. And I think we
Yeah.
got to have these different conversations. Like, I'm not even canceling August, right? But I don't really care to go support him because he did some. I just don't really care that he did what he did. So I can disagree with someone and not really fully heartily go out and support them like
Yeah.
I would like some of the activists that I support. And even in that, people are not perfect. So this is why I support principles and not people. Okay? And Kanye's principles is fucked up because he should have had the meeting before the meeting, knowing that even if what he was saying has some truth, you don't say that in a crowd to where folks who have power dominant with dominant identities over black people, in some cases with the system, you don't say that. And he said that. And so now, guess what the white people are going to do? Well, Harriet Tubman didn't free y'all. So it ain't even, we ain't even got nothing to do with that. Y'all can't.
That's
So it
see.
just, he's not helping. And if you're not gonna help black liberation, then shut the fuck up. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't think it's a case where it's worth just canceling somebody, canceling Kanye, because at this point, we should all know it's some stuff that we shouldn't just even give no energy to. Like the
You already
whole
know.
rant for, like when it comes to politics and running for president, I'm like, come on, bro. I didn't give that too much energy. It's like, nah. Only time I gave it energy is when people really started fucking talking about, oh, I'm gonna actually go vote for Kanye. No, motherfucker, you messing up the whole fucking plan. That's what pissed me off about it. But other than that, I'm like, if you talking about stuff like that in politics and you know that man has a mental health disorder, I'm not giving that much energy. His music, I think he's brilliant, and I'm a fan, been a fan since day one of Kanye West, and I even to his recent stuff, I'm a fan. You can tell if you listen, he's a musical genius. But dealing with bipolar, this is firsthand look of if somebody who hasn't dealt with family members or knows someone that has mental disorder, that's just how it is sometimes. And he's been diagnosed with being bipolar, and some people don't know that's just how they act, and it's like people don't know how to react to that. So I don't know if y'all ever had a family member or talk to somebody or have friends, girlfriends or whatever who was diagnosed with a mental disorder, and how did y'all deal with it if y'all did?
Um, I mean, you gotta. I feel like for instance, in my lifetime, I have I don't want to say dealt with because that just sounds
Yeah,
like.
maybe I should reword that, but yeah,
But I have been involved with people who have had mental disorders and bipolar to be exact. And I mean, they're still normal human beings. Like you could still kick it with them. You could still chop it up with them. Like there's nothing like about them that like separates themselves from anybody else until they have like their little episodes. It can be concerning, but how I dealt with it is you just gotta like me, like y'all know me. I'm a very argumentative, like I love to argue with people. Like I love to like stir the pot and just like grind people's gears. Like that's just how I am.
debate, debate,
Debate, yeah. But
sure,
sometimes if you dealing with someone who has a mental disorder and they snapping at you over something, your pride, the pride in you is like, oh no, I ain't gonna let them talk to me like that. But then you gotta think like this person really got some shit going on. Like you really don't know where shit can go, bro, because they have their mental instability to the point that like you just like they're not really. I mean, they're aware, but they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like we can't speak on Kanye because we don't really know him like that, nor we only know what the media tells us, right? But like I can guarantee you, if in my opinion, if Kanye is having a mental episode right now, do you really think he's aware of like how crazy he's talking right now, or do you think he's just going? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think they're. And I'm no expert on it, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a doctor. But like in my opinion, I just feel like they're not really aware of
Man,
how crazy. I don't want to say crazy. That's not the right word. How what's the word I'm looking for? Someone help me out. How
Well, I think really the word again. I think one thing is that society has normalized a certain way to act, and then anything that falls outside of that is considered mental, right, or crazy.
True. True.
And here's the thing, because the reality is this: probably many of us would have more episodes, right? Because, but we've conformed, right? And so, here's where I want to talk about mental health, because I honestly think it's society's inability to deal with folks who don't fall in the normal narrative of performance.
True.
So, and are there chemical imbalances? Absolutely. I'm not arguing against that, but what I am saying is there are times that folks have these very outside of the box way of thinking, and automatically the way society does is to reject those and to demonize those type of folks. Now, again, with Kanye, I think there's some episodes, but I also think that you got to think with celebrities. I've always had this conspiracy that celebrities do a lot for click buttons. So I don't know.
True.
That's why I'm not really trying to like necessarily like going to diagnose them. Is there some things going on? Absolutely. But when I have dealt with family members, it's because the society doesn't know how to deal with them. And we've got to figure out ways to educate ourselves because they're still human. Kanye is still a human. And anybody else that has bipolar disorder or depression or schizophrenia, some of those things are chemically and can be addressed if they're getting the right medication. Some of it comes down to support. Some of it comes down to conversations. And in the Black community, a lot of times we just kind of told ourselves, take it to the Lord instead of going to a therapist. I go to a therapist every 2 weeks. It's the best thing I ever did in my life. And I would encourage that a lot of us, people that look like us, should go get a therapist and have someone and talk.
facts.
Because sometimes that's just what you need. And maybe Kanye is needing somebody to talk to and has gotten away from that. And this is what he's doing. Or he could just be clicking buttons.
True, but touching on the therapy thing real quick, kind of a side note. I am an advocate for therapy as well because I was going to therapy, but I don't ever settle. Like, don't just go to therapy and be like, all right, I got a therapist, like I'm good. Like, because sometimes you can go to therapy and if you don't have the right therapist, like it's really not helping you. You know what I'm saying?
You got to find the right fit.
You got to find the fit. You got to find the fit for your best self. Because like I know people who was like, they'll talk to me like, just I know you went to therapy, yada yada yada. Then they go and like, oh, that was terrible. Like the person was awkward, or you know, you got to find that fit too. So make sure that you know what I'm saying.
But
Side note, just a side note.
Yeah, and also like speaking on just mental health too, because I was asking about like family and some people because there used to be somebody that I considered a brother, and at this time I didn't understand mental health at all. I guess he all of a sudden had a mental episode or whatever, where it was caused by drugs or whatever, and it came to a point where a close friend of mine, he actually touched a friend inappropriately. That's a girl or woman, and as men, you like, where he at? We about to beat his ass, or like, how do you react to somebody that has that type of mental disorder you quite don't understand? It's like, and maybe you got to sit back and think like maybe he is fucked up in the head. And at that point, I tried to take him to like mental hospitals and stuff. And this has been like something that's been ongoing. You can tell something's fucked up in his head. He's been doing irrational shit besides like the touching on women and stuff like that. So I can understand from that standpoint where it can be kind of fuzzy of mental health, especially when you to somebody you consider close to. Mm-hmm. So I think that's like just tough to talk about, especially on the other end of dealing with a family member or a friend or your relationship partner dealing with mental health, that's something that's scary as well. It can actually harm people if they don't get the right help, or even if you talk to a therapist, maybe they can detect those signs with a professional early on. So I mean, that's pretty much what I want to talk about on this podcast. I know we ended up on a sad note, but it's real. I think we need to talk about it, especially on this podcast. We're the Wholesome Men podcast. We need to address all these issues to become whole at the end of the day. And y'all make sure y'all go ahead and follow our IG page at Wholesome Men Podcast. Yes, Wholesome Men Podcast ____. And go ahead and follow your boy Keith at KLogan_70 on all social media platforms. Keith is me, by the way. Justin, go ahead and check us out.
Boy, they know it's you, boy.
I know. I just got to say that.
But y'all already know what it is. You know the deal. Your favorite wholesome man, JLP_63 on the gram. Y'all make sure y'all give us a follow on our Wholesome Men podcast gram. We gonna get it together, stir up the pot, make things look more professional, make things look more nice for y'all. But we got more content ready for y'all. Special guests, all that. But you already know what it is. Let's get it.
Dr. B.
Yo, it's Dr. B, aka the Raspy Doctor. Follow me at PettyNextDoor_4. There's times that I can be petty, but most of the time I'm just on there trying to get my mind right, trying to get my body right, and trying to get my spirit
flexing.
Oh,
flexing.
That whole part of trying to be a better man. So, follow us. Appreciate y'all. Good conversation today, y'all.
Sure. Oh yeah, one more thing. Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Facts. Arrest them.
Let's make sure we talk about that. All right,
y'all. It's been a good one. Y'all be blessed. Peace.